12-inch block. Here's the diagram. And here is what 4 blocks look like block to block. There's a little secondary designs in here. This block is a 4x4 grid, and since it's a 12-inch block, each unit in the grid finishes at 3 inches. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 across and 12 down. Here are the patches. Patch A is a 2-inch finished square. We'll cut 2.5-inch squares, and we need 4. Here are the AccuQuilt dies. The AccuQuilt dies are all listed on here. Patch B is a 2-inch finished half-square triangle. We're going to cut squares that are 2 7/8 inches, cut them in half once diagonally, and that gives us 2 patches. We need 8 patches of the background and 8 patches of the accent fabric, the light accent fabric. To do that, we'll need to cut 4 squares of each and cut each in half once diagonally. Patch C is a 2-inch by 4-inch finished rectangle. We'll cut 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and we'll need 4 patches. Patch D is a 4-inch finished half-square triangle. Cut 4 7/8 inch squares, cut them in half once on the diagonal, and we need 4 patches. That means you'll have to cut 2 squares and cut each in half once diagonally. Patch E is a 4-inch finished quarter square triangle. We cut a square that is 5 1/4 inches. We cut it in half diagonally twice, and we have 4 patches. And our last patch is F. It is a 4-inch finished square, so we'll cut 4.5 inches square. We just need 1 patch of that. There are 3 steps for piecing this. The first one we're going to piece is the flying geese unit. Then we'll piece the corner unit, and then we'll assemble the block. Here are the fabrics I've chosen. This is a black background with some flowers on it. And here is the accent fabric. So I just pulled a color out of this fabric here and the background. And then here are rectangles and our quarter square triangles. This is a good chance if you have a big floral print or just a big print, because this is a 4-inch finished square. You have some room to showcase your fabric. This block has several different triangles. We have 2-inch finished half square triangles and 4-inch finished quarter square triangles, and then 4-inch finished half square triangles. So these pieces that are triangles, I cut by hand with my rotary cutter. And two tools that I found are really great for if you're cutting your triangles by hand. The first one is this. It's from Creative Grids. It's called a simple 7/8 ruler. Here's what it looks like here. The numbers here, this is a corner, they start at 7/8 inches. And here and this way, and then down this way. And they go in increments of 1. So 7/8, 1 7/8, 2 7/8, 3 7/8. And this tells you that this is a 1-inch finished half square triangle, 1 7/8. This is a 2 7/8. 3 7/8 is your 3-inch finished half square triangle, and so on. It goes all the way up to 10-inch half square triangle. I found this ruler makes it very easy and accurate to cut the pieces, and I use this one for all the half square triangles. These sizes, I believe this is a half square triangle as well, so I use them for these triangles. Another tool I used to round out these points on the half square triangles, or really any triangle or anything that has a point, is this deluxe corner trimmer from Marty Michelle. And for the half square triangles that we have here, and also the quarter square triangles that we cut, we use this tool to line up the 45-degree angle and to trim off these 2 pieces here. And that's what gives you the rounded edge. As you're piecing these half square triangles and quarter square triangles, these little cutoffs, even though they seem insignificant, really help to place the fabric before you sew it. And I'll be demonstrating that when we put the pieces together. We're going to take our 8 patch B pieces and our 4 patch E pieces. And E pieces are the quarter square triangle and the B pieces are the half square triangle. And we're going to piece the flying geese unit like this. We're going to make 4 of them. And when I piece these, I'll chain piece these. I'll start with one side, flip this over, and since you've cut off these points, everything lines up really well. You line up this edge, all these points you cut off, and this edge here. And then if you'll see up here, let me show it to you first. See, there's a cut off edge here and a cut off here. When I line this up, you see how this cut off edge lines up evenly with this edge. Here's what it looks like. So I make sure all these edges are lined up. Start here at 1/4 inch and stitch all the way down. Then press your seams open. Then when you're done with that side and they're all pressed, take your next one, line it up again. Then you'll stitch your 1/4 inch all the way down and press your seams open. Now I'm going to go stitch all of the 4 flying geese units. The flying geese units are finished. And what we'll do next for the flying geese, we'll stitch them to this rectangle unit like this. And while we're doing that, we'll stitch these corner units. We're going to stitch these B patches to adjacent sides of the square, the A patch. We'll line up these first, stitch 1/4 inch this way, press the seams open, and then line up this side, stitch 1/4 inch and press the seams open. Here are the flying geese with the rectangles sewn together. Put those off to the side. Your first round of stitching this corner unit, we lined these up and stitched 1/4 inch. Then when you press, it looks like this. Press your seams open, and you will take your next triangle. You always want to have, this is going to be a big half square triangle when you're done with it. So lay it like this and match these 2 corners here, or the corners, the 90-degree corner here, and stitch your 1/4 inch this way. Then when you press your seams open, this is what that looks like. So we'll do 4 of these. And after we do these, we're going to stitch this piece onto it, the big half square triangle. And we'll just turn this over, match the ends and the edge. And I like to stitch on this side. When you're stitching your 1/4 inch, when you start up here, you have to line this up better than I have. Line them up. Start your 1/4 inch and stitch all the way down and aim for this point right here. You don't want to cut off that point. You want to stitch right above the point and then keep aiming for your 1/4 inch off the edge. Do that for all 4 of them and press your seams open. We have all of our units made. Now we're going to put the block together. We'll start with the center square, and then these go on the side. Flying geese. And then we have our corner units with the square facing out. Now you just simply piece together each row, then sew the rows together. Thanks for watching.